Hey there guys, I've got something to show you that's not a mini album. I told you guys in my last video that I was gonna go on I was in the mood to make flowers. Well, I've been on one heck of a flower kick for the past week, so I thought I'd share some with you. So all I did was, I saw these burnt flowers like on Pinterest. Somebody made a wedding bouquet out of them. So I'm kind of pretty good at like looking at things and figuring out like how to do it or coming up with my own way to do it. So that's what I did. But anyways, let me just show you all these that I made. And all I did was I have a bunch of different silky fabrics. You know, they're cheap ones that you get at, don't get the expensive David tutorial video or wedding expensive satiny fabrics. The cheap ones at Walmart, if your Walmart has a fabric section, or the cheaper ones at Joann Fabrics. The cheaper ones actually burn easier. And so anyways, let me just show you these, and then I'll kind of do a tutorial and make another batch for you. So now all of these, I will be putting felt backings on them. And what I did, I make them in batches of different colors. I don't even know where to begin. And different sizes and everything. So these are the ones that I burn the edges. And this was actually out of my white satin. Hold on. It was white satin, and I sprayed it and made it look like that. I just sprayed the whole piece of fabric with Lindy's Opal Sea Oats. And it turned it into this beautiful, it's like an off-white, silvery, beige, really beautiful color. And then, so here's what it looks like when I sprayed it. And I imagine you could coffee dye them too. And then I made the flower out of it. But yeah, so you can also spray your fabrics. And then this is one that this was white also, and I sprayed it with worn leather from Prima, and it really looks cool. So I didn't make any out of this one yet, but I will. So anyways, let's get on. I'll show you some of these. Now I'm not done embellishing them. I just kind of been sitting here making them up. And I will probably, like, later on further embellish them. And I'm also going to have some for sale in my Etsy. I'm going to package them up real pretty. So look for that. It'll probably be a couple days. But I'll do a video when they're up in my Etsy. So here's like this one was the fabric that I bought, and when you melt them. And then I have a bunch of, like you can get at your Joann's or fabric stores, this hat netting stuff. They sell that, and I cut it in circles, and also the tool, but it's the bigger, thicker tool. It's not like the thin rolls you buy, and they sell this by the yard on the bolts at the fabric stores. So I like to add different fibers and textures in these flowers, and they're very layered, very time consuming, and they destroy your hands. You can see the soot marks from holding it under the candle. So yeah, don't wear nail polish. I had to pick it off because yeah, it will set your finger on fire. Okay, so anyways, there's these colors, this color. They're just gorgeous, and they're all like with different and then I made some little ones. Some gray. The gray come out really nice. The burnt edges just look super cool. And I use different, some are buttons, some are pearls, different sizes. And I will be adding like lace and different, maybe on some of them more like pearl dangles, and I'll leave some plain. But I'll just sit and embellish them like later on. Like you can add different strings hanging from them. That's more of a lollipop. Oh, I didn't put a center in that. It was in there, but I didn't glue it down. Okay, so then here's white. I wasn't too fond of the white. I mean, it looks good, but I think you got to use like a black and white. Because when you burn the white, I thought it would come out more brown and vintagey, but when you burn the edges, it comes out black. But it still looks cool. And I have different sizes in the white. I don't know why I made the white really small. You can see the netting. That one has just a bling. I think this color is my favorite. And then I made, this is just out of like organza, the lollipop style. Made an itty bitty one. More of the grays. Another itty bitty lollipop with my scraps. These were lollipop. This was a pink organza. And these lollipop flowers have been around for a long time. You'll see dozens of tutorials on YouTube, but I used to make them, but I ran out, and so now I'm in a flower kick because I want a whole bunch in my stash. This is that hair netting, or hat netting. Just added it in between. Some black, gray, doilies inside, more of the white, pretty organza. Let's see. Yeah, so I've been really busy having fun making a ton. I did some with black netting. Here's a pink with lace in between. Here's one that I sewed, which I'm going to be making a bunch more of those. And I like these little small lollipops. So I did a bunch of those. And it's a lot of fun just coming up with all the different color schemes and the sizes. And these are just going to look beautiful on projects. Here's one that I did with rolling the ribbon, and then I put it on an applique, and won't that look stunning on a project? And then, alright, yeah, so I guess I have been going to town here. Didn't realize. And then here's all the littler ones that, ta-da! Alright, so I'll shut this off, and I'll come back and show you how I do it. I'll be back. Okay, so first of all, what you're going to need is scraps of fabrics. Like I said, the silky kind. Just get a yard or a quarter of a yard or whatever. See, it's just real thin, silky, and I have all different colors. I have gray, I have white, I have tan. And I'm going to tell you, the neutral colors, I think, turn out the best. And what I mean by neutrals, I mean tans, creams. That's a pink, but it's a dusty mauve, almost a tan pink. It's not a bright pink. And I'm talking for the burning kind of flowers to get this burnt edges. So those are in the blacks. I think they do good. And I like to layer, like this one I don't have anything but the fabric, but I do like to layer them up with different, you know, nettings and laces in between. It just bulks them up more and gives them more interest, and they look more expensive. So let me get started. The first thing, I'll tell you what you need. You need your silky fabrics, maybe tulle netting, any beads or embellishments. You know, I have a bunch of this stuff, buttons, pearl trims. Get all your little doodads out, all my buttons and stuff. You will need a little container of water to sit right in front of you, because yes, these things will catch on fire sometimes and you need to dump them in the water really quick. If you're using buttons and you need to cut the nibs off, you're going to need wire cutters, a long set of tweezers, a lighter, tea lights. This is optional. I use these when I'm gluing them down. These are those, you know, glue gun helpers or whatever. And when I did my tea lights, and I'm telling you they're very cheap because you will go through a ton of them if you're making a ton of flowers. But I get a 50 pack and it's probably $3 if lot less at Walmart. Alright, a glue gun or adhesive of your choice. You know, you can use fabric tack or whatever. If you don't want to pick your glue strings, but I like to, glue gun works the best. Okay, so let me just get, oh, and a little dish to keep your candle on. Alright, so what I did was, first of all, my little lollipops, I cut with my Cuddle Bug, and I use this die. It's oldie. You can see all the fibers. They come off. You can brush them off. But anyways, for my little lollipop flowers, I use this die, and I just cut square layers to fit of the fabric, and I stack them up. You could do probably 4 or 5 at once. And then I run it through my Cuddle Bug, which I have a big shop, but I think the Cuddle Bug just works better because my plates, I don't know, I like it better. I can sit here on my desk and use it. So I run that through, but I'll come back and show you that tutorial later. So for this particular one that I'm showing you now, I know I'm jumping all over here, but this is how I did it. I made a template because I need these circles big. And I guess you could use one of your circle dies if you have it, but this was just easier. So what I do is I cut me some templates out of cardboard. And you just want alternating circles. I did 4, but seriously, these 3 work the best. The smaller one, I added in sometimes. It depends on, my phone's ringing. It just depends on how small you want your center pieces or your blings or whatever. Alright. I don't know how to shut that off because I got a new phone. I don't know how to dismiss it, so you're just going to have to listen to it. Alright, now how I got my circles, because I can't tell you how big they are, you just have to eyeball it. And what I did was I just took spools of ribbon sizes, like that. Look how burnt my fingers are from the soot of melting these. So, okay, I just took various sizes of my ribbon spools and made sure they went smaller and smaller, and then here's a washi tape. And that's where I got all my, and I just traced it on cardboard and then cut them out, and I got my templates. So just eyeball anything around your house. If you want this size, this is 4 1/4. The next one is 3 1/4, 2 1/4. Wow, I really eyeballed that good. They're all, and this is 2 inches. I'm talking. Alright, so we got our templates. Let me put these out of the way. Then what I do is I take whatever fabric, and I think I'll use this dusty mauve fabric again because they just came out so pretty. Move your water. And what I do is I take my fabric and I unravel it, and I get a big piece because I'm going to fold it. You can do how many you want. If you just want to make one flower, then just cut it. But this is folded in half, and then I'm going to cut a nice big hunk off. And this was just 2 yards of fabric that I had. And you could see you could get quite a few flowers out of it. Alright, so now I have, this is folded over, so this is actually 2 pieces already because it's folded in half. And it's a pretty big piece that I got going on. And you just want to keep folding it, keeping it all together because you're going to cut out many layers with your little circle. And I don't even bother to count. I go with it. However many I can fit. And I usually get it to be like that. So we have several layers going on that we're going to cut through. Oh, and you need a very good pair of fabric scissors to cut through this. If you use crappy dull scissors, you're going to have a nightmare. Anyways, your circles, by the way, do not have to be perfect at all, by all means, because you're burning the edges anyways. You're just getting the basic size. So what I do is I lay out my circles right on top of my fabric. All of them, and they all seem to fit. And then I take an ink pen and I just trace around, not even being careful. Trace around. And if I could fit an extra one of these on here, I think I will, because it's going to be close, but I'll do it anyways. Just because I like to make smaller ones by themselves. Alright, so now you're going to cut through all your layers, and I like to keep it together. If you really want to be, you could hold your fabric together. That way it's not slipping around on you. But anyways, I just take like a little section. I'm cutting through all the layers, and see, these are really good fabric only scissors. I'm cutting that piece out. Now see all the layers that we have? Now I'm just going to trim around. And you don't have to be perfect. Just, you know, try to keep it somewhat of a circle. There, so I cut out my first batch of circle, and that gave me, how many, let's see how many layers I had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 layers. But I put, for each flower of each size, I put 2 of each size, because you want it full and stuff. So you could do more if you want it even fuller or bigger. So then I'll go ahead and cut this big circle out. So yeah, you don't have to be perfect. That's what's cool about this. You're going to be melting. And then I set these in front of me in their piles according to size. Smallest to biggest, or biggest to smallest, because then that's how we're going to, let me just cut this off of there so I can cut this out. Get rid of that. And then I kind of do it in a system. I sit there and burn all of, well, I got to show you how I cut them first. But let me warn you, it's very hard on your eyes, because you're sitting there, especially if you're making a ton. So, you know, maybe do it a couple a day or something. But you sit there and you stare at that candle. You burn your fingers. Make sure your nail polish is off, because nail polish is extremely flammable, and you're going to be putting it, you know, by that flame. So I don't want you to burn your fingers. Make sure you have water by you. I haven't set anything on fire yet, but you could. Oh, and different fabrics, test your fabric first, because different fabrics are more flammable and more, they melt different. So test them out first, because I have all different kinds. So, and And you kind of got to play with it to, you'll get the feel of how it melts and how you want it to look. And it's very hard on your eyes because you're sitting there staring at that flame forever. And when I go away, I'm blind. I don't know if that's really good for your eyes. But this will be the last batch of burning ones that I do on camera with you, and then I'm going to switch over to some sewing ones and show you that. What happened? Alright, now my last little one. Be careful you don't cut your fingers with these big scissors. I've done that before where you snip underneath. Yeah, it hurts. Alright. Alright. I got all my circles cut out. That didn't take long, did it? See, quick. Do it as a system. Alright, then what I do, I put my little templates to the side and I get set up. I go with all my sizes, big to smallest. Where do those look? 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, these are the same. I think. I don't know what the hell I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. I cut out double. That's, oh, I did. I cut out extra of that because I wanted to make small ones. Okay, I'm alright. Alright, so I line them up like this, and then I take the biggest one. And what you want to do is you want to cut your petals. I usually do 6 cuts. And I try to just go with like the tip of the scissors, little bit less than an inch. You're going to go smaller as you go down. This one's the big. So hold them all together. It doesn't matter if they don't line up. I keep my finger in the center so I kind of know to not cut. And I just make my cuts. 1, and they're about that big. You can see from my finger. And then turn it, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So there we have it evenly cut. We still have our center, and those are cut. And I'll do that to each one. And of course these cuts will be a little smaller, but I still try to just use like the tip of the scissors to snip it. And keep your thumb in the middle so you know you don't. So 1, 2, 3. And keep all your cuts the same size, because that does make a difference. If it's a little bit off, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, one more. 6. Okay, see how I did that? Do it with these. This was on the fold, so I just stick my scissors in there and cut that. Alright, so again. Oh, this one's hard because it's really doubled up. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so you didn't see me finish cutting that. I only got 5. My camera shut off. I only got 5 cuts on that and 5 cuts on the next smaller size. But that's fine because you're burning them and alternating them. And it's okay. You're going to scrunch it up and glue it. So then what I do is I line them up in front of me like that. I get my little tea light, but for this one I'm going to get a brand new tea light. And once it starts getting in, you'll know when your tea lights, you can sit and do this with a lighter, but I'm going to tell you, yeah, you'll burn the crap out of yourself. And I do have a blister from doing, because I do still do some of it with the lighter and lighting all my tea lights. You can get one of these. I don't like using this because I don't have control over it, you know, so I don't know. It's all your preference. But anyways, so let me light my tea light, and sometimes I blow them out because the wax gets too much, and you got to be careful when they get waxy. So I blow them out, but then you can light them again later and reuse them. But we're going to start fresh with this one. All right. For the big ones, I don't really use my tweezers. I more or less use my tweezers and hold it in there when I'm doing my smaller ones. So I like to take these apart one by one, and this is really flimsy. And I kind of pinch it in the middle so I can pucker up my thingamajigger. And I kind of start in the middle of the petal on the edge. And let me zoom in so you can really see how it's curling. And just put it in there and burn the edges. Let it do what it wants. If it goes the opposite way, don't worry about it. You can kind of flip it back later. But I sit here and I do the whole stack of the big ones. Then I go to the whole stack of the little ones. And I keep them in separate piles. So you just, if you start in the center, I think it, and then go to your corners, it kind of puckers it in and looks really cool. But they will, each petal, every fabric burns different. All your, you know, you want, it's just cool. All right, so that, and be careful, don't touch it in the wax. Sometimes I drop them in the wax and I got to start all over. Throw it out. Alright, start in the center, it puckers it up, and I just drag it right across the flame. And sometimes they'll catch on fire and you just blow it out. Alright, look how cool that looks. Now what you want to do is go through the, and see, it really melts it. So now you want to go through and do in these centers where you cut. You don't have to, but it seals the fabric and kind of burns it, and it also puckers your leaves more. But sometimes I can do it with the candle and sometimes I don't. It's kind of easier for me to do it on this part where I just use the lighter and kind of hit it in there. See? It doesn't take much. Just hit it in there in the center and it kind of seals it and gathers it. And it just makes it enough that it's not going to fray. And if you have a corner that's pointy, then just go in and kind of remelt it. Because I don't like them squared. There, now all my, and that's it. That's a petal. So I will sit and do that with every stack, my big one all the way down. And then I still keep these in piles according to size when they're all burnt. So I will finish this and come back and then show you how to assemble them all. Alright, so I got my first stack of the big ones melted on the edges from the candle. But then what I do with the bigger ones, you can take it over your flame and kind of go through each middle like that. But to me, I just burn my fingers. So it's easier for me to just hit the lighter and go through each, and it just seals it and kind of curves it up a little bit, and it'll burn those edges so it's not going to fray. So it really doesn't take long, but this is what I do. I go through each stack and then I pile them up. See, so that doesn't take long. And I just throw them there. So when I complete this whole thing, I will go ahead and do the same thing to each of my smaller ones. And then I'll be back to put them together with you. All right, I got all my stuff burned. And now what I'm going to do is, like I said, I put it in piles, and I know my craft mat is disgusting, and actually I do have a brand stinking new one sitting right over there, and I just don't have the heart to change it because I'm so used to this one, the way the measurements are. But one of these days I'll surprise you and it'll be new and fresh. But anyways, so I keep them in their piles of sizes in order. So I got the biggest one here, the second biggest, the third biggest, which I have more of because I want to make smaller ones too. And then my littlest ones. And then I have, I cut out all this netting in the circles the same way I did, and I just have those in front of me because I did all the sizes, and I will layer them in between some flowers. So what I do now is, this just makes it go a whole heck of a lot faster, is I do 2 of each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then, I don't even know if I'll use these little ones, but I do one of the little centers. So I stack them all, and I get them ready, and then I just put them aside. I build them all together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then one of those. And I just do that until these are all used up. I'm not going to do any more of the little ones because I want to make smaller flowers out of those. So you don't need it because your bling's going in the center. So 2, 2, 2, 2. So get them all. So I have 3 more. For these last 3, I'm going to save this extra one to build more flowers later. And then 2 of these. Alright, so now I have all these extra for the 2 seconds, the 2 second smallest. I'm going to put those aside because then I'm going to build smaller flowers. Alright, so I have them all sitting there, so that made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flowers. And then I just push them in front of me, and I pick them up one by one, and I glue them together. Let me zoom for you. So I just start, and I don't glue it back on. I'm going to glue those on the end. You can do paper or felt circle punch just to glue for stability, but I don't. And then I put the glue in the center, and then I try to stagger the petals in between. In between like that. And now I might want to put a piece of this in the middle. Sometimes I do 2 because it shows up better, and I will just, what I'll do is I'll put 2 of these together. I'm gonna sneeze. I feel a sneeze coming on. And then I put a little bit of glue in the center, and then I lay that on top, but then I take my next size, which are these 2, and then I lay it right on top, staggering the petals as well. And this is where you might want your tip. So see, we're just gluing, and the more you press down, the more they bunch up. I think my lungs hurt from inhaling all this candle stuff. I'm putting some glue on the back of that. So the more the layers, the fuller the flower you get, so it's really up to you how many you want to do. I like to do 2 of each because it just gives it that fuller look. You can do way more if you want. Now here I might add one of these smaller pieces of this netting inside of that, and then I'll add my other 2. And you don't have to add this if you don't want. You could add lace, trim, whatever you want. Let your imagination go wild. You just kind of want it tucking out. It gives it interest. And sometimes you can use this little pokey thing when you get towards the end so you don't make a mess. I put the glue on there. And then you could stab it right down in there. Like so. See? And then we put our flower center of choice in the middle. You can use a pearl, a button, whatever. So then I'll take my glue. Just get it on the back, get rid of the glue strings. And then I open this up and stick it right in the middle and press down. And voila! There you go. Now you can add bead trim on the back, dangling down. You could add more lace appliques. You could add anything you want. You can even put some more of this stuff on the back and make it bigger. I don't want it too big, but that's what I'll do then. I'll piece all these together, I glue them all together, and that's how you have these beautiful flowers. So let me put these aside and then I'll show you how I make the smaller ones. And these I just play with any old which way. I'll take 2 of these smaller ones, put them together. My smaller netting, 2 pieces. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll put some glue in the center of this. Lay my netting on top and then take my smaller one and dig it in there. And maybe I'll add another one just to make it look fuller. And there's a little one. And for this one, I'll probably just use pearl in the center. Some small pearls. Oh, I had one right on top. There we go. Hit it with your glue gun. And pop it down in the middle. You just use the smallest amount of glue. And there you go. Super pretty. You can add leaves, like if you have some Prima leaves, and glue leaves on the back or whatever. So there you go. I'll continue to do the rest of these, and I hope you liked that. Give it a try. Although it is kind of a grueling process, you have to have a lot of patience, and your fingers are gonna get icky and dirty and blistery, and you'll get a couple burns, I'm sure, just from this melting, and it touches you sometimes. But other than that, you create really beautiful flowers. And if you don't feel like going through that painful process, I will have packs of these for sale sometime soon, in the next couple days, in my Etsy shop, which is Pretty Paper Maker on Etsy, and the link will be in the description box down below to take you over there. But before I do that, I want to just show you something. Or before I go. So I was in the craft store and I saw these petals that you buy in the bridal section to, you know, toss for the bride, whatever, the flower girls. And I thought, oh, that's cool. They're already done. I could cut these and burn the edges and put them and make flowers out of them without, yeah, no, wrong, don't do it, because I'm going to show you why right now. Let me get the water. They're extremely flammable. See? Yeah. Don't get those if you're going to be burning them. Now they might be cool to spray and just take like a piece of cardboard circle, because they do come in little sizes, and glue them on so we could spray one up. But yeah, they're very flammable. So what I recommend to you is, before you start melting any of your fabric and burning it, test it first with some water right in front of you, because look how fast that catches on fire. Very quickly. So yeah, we don't want that. So don't use those. Don't get that idea in your head. But let's see how it looks when we spray them real pretty. And just use them to make flowers. I don't know if they take ink well or not. Alright, so they do take the ink somewhat well, and then you could also ink your edges to make them darker, and then glue them on a circle. That's kind of cool. And then if you had a circle, like a punch out a circle piece of cardboard or something, and then glue them and layer them and stagger them, you can make real pretty flowers. But I'm not too keen on it, so maybe I'll find something else to do with this. Maybe make butterflies or something. So just the tip, don't do that. You'll definitely burn down your house. Alright, I hope you like that. I will show you maybe another video when I dowel them all up. And then, like I said, I get felt and cut a little circle of felt out and glue it on the back so that you can, or you can use cardstock so that it gives it something to glue down to on your projects. Alright, there you go. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something. If you've already seen it before and you already make it, maybe you do it different, or you just like to watch. Alright, take care everybody. Bye.